El nuevo Jueves Azul en Blue Martini de City Place te trae en vivo al rey del freestyle, George Lamond. Acompáñame a mi Lía este jueves con Mía 92.1 transmitiendo en vivo. Damas beben gratis de 9 a 11 con botellas de Grey Goose a $150 toda la noche. Con DJ R1 y DJ Mate mezclando la mejor salsa, bachata, merengue y house. No te pierdas esta invitación especial donde Blue Martini City Place te trae en vivo a George Lamond. El nuevo Jueves Azul en Blue Martini de City Place. Allá nos vemos. Estás aquí en el flow del día dándole la bienvenida a George Lamond.
Gracias a Dios que llegué bien.
We can do this in Spanish or English.
We can do both. We'll do bilingual, mama.
Okay, so how are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. Gracias a Dios. Everything's good. My kids are fine. I'm fine. We're all fine. It's beautiful weather, so estamos gozando.
How many kids do you have?
I have, did I know? No, stop. No, I have three.
Three.
El
Three
pequeño,
boys? They're all boys?
Varones todos. El mayor es 14, el medio 11 y el pequeñito es 4. He's the firecracker.
El chiquitico.
Yeah, el chiquitito. Aaron, Ryan y Gabriel.
Did you say arroz? Aaron.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron, like
yeah.
Aaron.
It sounds better in English. Aaron.
Yeah, like Aaron.
Aaron, Gabriel, and Brian. Yeah.
And they live where?
They live with Daddy out in Staten Island.
That's where you live.
The little one, he's a little firecracker. That's the one that wants to be el dancer, quiere ser cantante, músico, quiere ser de todo.
Baterista.
Eso también. El medio, he's a little nerd. He likes the computer. He loves to read. He's very, very into his education. The big one, todo de Xbox. Lo que sea. Juego esto, Call of Duty. He's always online playing it. He's a very good kid. They're very, very well respected kids.
Awesome. Mucha gente me pregunta, ¿de dónde eres tú originalmente?
Originalmente, tengo una historia. Vamos a empezar así. I was born in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., hence the name Jorge George. Y después de ahí a Puerto Rico, from 2 to 7 in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And then the rest of my life in Nueva York, in Manhattan, the Bronx, all the boroughs. But my parents originalmente son de Puerto Rico. Mi padre son Puerto Rico, my mother from Puerto Rico. So I'm what you call New Yorican.
O sea que tu herencia la tienes de Puerto Rico.
Seguro. That's right, baby. Only.
And you grew up listening to what, salsa and all that kind of stuff?
It was in my time. It was different because New York City was going through a transition. You know, the ghettos and the drugs and the government and the politics was they were very corrupt back in those days. I'm talking about, I was listening to music as young as the 60s. I'm sorry. I'm not that old. Late. I'm going to be 44. I'm going to be 44 tomorrow.
Awesome!
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Woo! I hear some people are going to throw it tonight at midnight, but yo no sé nada de eso.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys do, right? And I was listening to, I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters. So we went from lao to Fania to reggae to hip-hop, because hip-hop started in the 80s. Right. And I was a b-boy back in the days. So I listened to Frankie Crocker on WBLS, R&B. So, and boleros, like Felipe Rodriguez, Los Panchos,
Wow.
So it was Celia Cruz. I had a big array of music, and I loved Billy Joel and a lot of the rockers like Genesis. And so I listened to everything. Michael Jackson was another one. I used to sit in front. I used to play records. Remember those things you guys used to use back in the days?
I used to play the same record.
Remember? Yeah.
Journey.
Exactly. And y de ahí, I just started singing, and people actually told me that I sounded pretty good.
When do you realize que tienes este talento?
When people were telling me, giving me compliments.
How old were you then?
I started a little late. I was in high school. I was 16 years old.
And this is when you discovered,
Pero
I might be pretty good at this.
Yeah, but no one knew that I sang, because I didn't tell anybody. Yo siempre estaba grabando, jugando, pero era para nada, just manteniéndome in the studio, just to stay out of the street, because crack was really big at the time, and it was kind of scary, because every corner they were selling, the guys sounded like ducks, crack, 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 so what I did was to stay away from it. I stood in the recording studios, and if not, I went to the center. I was playing the basketball, doing gymnastics. So, pero sí, grabando, y la familia no sabía nada. Yo cantaba y I kept it on the down.
¿Y la familia, meaning your parents, no
My
sabían que tú
parents no
cantabas?
sabían nada de que...
¿No sabían que tú cantabas?
Nada.
Wow.
Because I never did it in the house. You know, más o-
It's
you know,
crazy.
like a little bit sometimes en el cuarto yo estoy cantando una parte de canciones aquí, and believe it or not, because they would listen to Chucho Avellonet, they would listen to El Puma, I was listening to Menudo, so those were my heroes when it came to Latin music, because I didn't have, you know, the young singers that they have now, everybody now, so I had to listen to the old school guys, which, you know, was a blessing, and it was a privilege. Pero nada, de ahí empecé, and people was like, you really good at what you do. That's when I got the confidence. So I was like, okay, because it's coming more. And then the girlies, you know, the girlies started coming out.
The
and
honey's coming
the
out.
honeys was coming from left and right, the different flavors, aquí, la otra. So, and it just worked out really, really good. And a lot of people just kept on telling me how good it was. And that gave me the confidence to now make it more public. And that's what I started telling people. Yeah, I'm starting to do singing.
When is your mom and your dad first seen you sing?
The first time.
Wow, él canta.
That's a good question. I've never asked that question. Let me see. My mom, the first time that she saw me perform was at, I think, a club in the Bronx. It was called the Devil's Nest. And that was a big, big place where a lot of the, like, TKA, Franz Jolie, all those acts, Shannon started singing, and she was there. Very uncomfortable for her because, you know, imagínate, you know, it was a young crowd, la música was really, really loud. So she came to see me there. She was.
You convinced her to come out?
My mom, yeah, she came. She came.
Check this
It
out.
was a promotional date. It wasn't a popular day that I went. It was for a promo. So that was the first time she saw me sing. And
What, did you have a record out already?
no, I was doing demos.
Okay,
I was doing
okay.
demos. But the first time that she saw me perform at an arena was at the Madison Square Garden. I was doing.
Wow, what a
I
leap.
think I was working con Rafi Mercado. May he
Right.
rest in peace. And it was the La Salsa. What they call it? What's it? The back they used to call it the salsa romántica.
Festival de la
El Festival de
Salsa.
la Salsa. No, pero era. It was
Salsa
like
romántica.
No, but it was
Valentine's
for
Day. For
Valentine's Day.
El Día de los Enamorados.
It was a well-known trademark that they had. It was very popular in Madison Square Garden. Valentine's came around. All the Latinos from all the boroughs came to see this thing. Anyway, I was there.
Okay.
My mom, who says yes to everything because she,
El
now she
concierto
speaks
del
great
amor.
English. Huh? El concierto del amor. That's it, concierto del amor. So I used to look at that one. I did 2 of them. She got lost. Someone gave her the wrong seat. She was separated from my other brothers and sisters. Here I am performing, thinking that I'm singing to my mom. It was so dark, and she's all the way to the left. And she was lost for like about 45 minutes, but she said she loved the entire show. She was very proud of me.
Oh,
And
wow.
she didn't even care she was lost. She was like, my son's on stage, a mí no me importa nada, he's doing great. So that was the first time she saw me singing with a full band. That was nice.
So who's the person that discovers you as a talent? Que dice, vamos a grabar un disco con George Lamond. ¿Quién dijo eso?
Oh man, a friend of mine. Her name was Marilyn Rodriguez. She wrote this. She wrote a song for Judy Torres called "There's No Reason for You to Cry." So she was from the neighborhood. She was my vecina. She was from across the street. So un día me dijo, yo tengo una parte de la canción. You want to sing? You want to try it? Vamos a grabar las canciones. And a ver, see what's going to happen with them. And I recorded 5 of them. And out of the 5, 2 were good. 1 was called "Bad of the Heart." And
She wrote that song?
She wrote "Bad of the Heart." She co-wrote it with another gentleman by the name of Philip Andriola. And I was one of the lucky ones. They submitted him in like 3 or 4 months. I got a record deal. You know, I was lucky because it was easy those days. We actually got to visit a human being. Yeah, we walked into the office. Here's my record. You know, come back next week. Vamos a ver. Vamos a una cita. Y estamos bien. And then I sang for him, and his name was Chris Barbosa, and he says, "I like your voice."
Chris was the one that
Chris
discovered
Barbosa,
you.
yes, Chris
Wow.
Barbosa. Yeah.
I had that vinyl. You know that? I had
Is
the
that the
Bad of
ugly-
the Heart vinyl.
Is it the blue record or was the other one?
No, it was the one with the thing that I saw on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, the
You
without
got
you?
darker, and you're looking all
Oh yeah, also
Right.
debonair and all hardcore. I remember the first time I saw you. Actually, it was with the guys from Lanier. I don't know if you remember that group.
Yes, I know.
We were sitting down in the living room. One of the dancers was there, and the first time that I saw the video was, I want to say it was in Living Color. Living Color used to show videos, I think, back in the day.
Yes.
And all of a sudden pops out the video, and I went, "That's what he looks like." I thought you were black.
Yeah, a lot of people. But fíjate, we instilled us as I'm glad that I came up when I did because en esos días, tú sabes, me enseñaron a lot of things en este negocio que you have to learn so that you could be humble. You know, it was a black and white world. You know, it was not a Latino world.
Right.
It was either tú eras blanco or you the other. So Garcia, which is that's my real name, Jorge Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised George Garcia, and the record company, Columbia Records, had decided we need to change your name. It's just not going to work. And I remember the day that they changed my name, I was confused because I didn't want to hide who I was. I'm Garcia. I want to carry this name, Garcia. When was the last time you heard of Garcia on the radio? But what I didn't understand was it didn't have any pizzazz to the name, Garcia. All the way from the George Garcia. It just wasn't going to work back then.
Back then, right? Because I have
then.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, ahora diferente. Otra cosa.
Who picks the last name for you? And
What
where
happened
does it come
was
from?
it was a collective thing in the whole staff. The president of the label, Donnie Yanner, basically said, somebody find the name for this guy. You work for Columbia, find the name. Next thing you know, everybody, whether you were a secretary to the PD, to the program, you had to come up with a name. And a lot of names came up. And George Lamond, which means El Mundo in French, came up. I remember that day going back, I was trying to explain to my mother. I was crying because
She must have been upset.
I was offended that they didn't want to keep my last name.
Of course.
I was hurt because I'm like, what's wrong with that name? It sounds fine to me. And I was explaining, it says we're living in a little different type of, a scenario in this world, and it's just going to sound better. It's for the better, Bobby, believe me. And you know what? It was. I kind of like the name now. I'm stuck with it. But that's how it was. And I mean, it was really hard for me to get through it. I didn't really want to change my name.
It was, so at first when people referred to you by that name, it used to
I
upset
didn't
you?
like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And everyone thought that I was black. Every time I walked in, they were like, oh, dang, he ain't a brother. I thought you were a brother. I was like, no, I'm as Latino as they come. Sorry.
Okay, so that happens. The whole freestyle phase takes over. When I remember the music scene, at least in New York, I traveled a lot to New York, in Miami, all up the East Coast.
Yes.
Freestyle takes over.
Yes.
And you, as I recall, were the king of that format at the time. When it starts to die down, what happens to you?
Oh, man, this is a really good one. I remember, and I've never said this on radio. This is the first time I'm going to say it on Mia 92.1. I had a nervous breakdown. I remember I was married. And my ex-wife, Yvonne, she tells me, she says, what's wrong? We're crossing the street, and I went into a blank. And she goes, and tears started coming out my eyes. And I couldn't speak for the love of me. I was trying to get something out, and I couldn't get it out. And what happened was, everything was happening. Hot 97 just went hip-hop. MTV closed down. Downtown Julie Brown was no longer on TV. All the other stations were switching to gangster rap. The record label released me on my second album due to sales. Well, no, it was more of a negotiation type of thing. It was just a bad negotiation. So everything slammed. And I remember this was the first time that the mind played something on me, and I couldn't speak, I couldn't talk. All I was telling her was I was pointing to the direction to take me off, and I remember this so well. We went into a Fuddruckers, because they had Fuddruckers at the time. And she walked me in there. She was trying to gather myself, and I was shaking, and what happened was I was having a nervous breakdown. And I didn't know what it was. But I tell you what a nervous breakdown looks like.
Like an anxiety attack?
An anxiety attack, yeah. It looks like someone is playing fast forward on a videotape of your life, and you see all the images just right in front of you.
Really?
That blew my mind. I was only 28, 27.
Were you doing any drugs?
No, none at all.
You were
None.
completely
I was completely
sane.
normal, sane. And, and it just hit me. I was holding too much in.
Right.
And I thought that my world was always going to be like that. Yo estoy bien, tengo la plata, no hay problema, I got shows, tengo la disquera, la música está pegada, and then everything just went, it just closed on me. And I remember that's the first time I said, that was a very, very humbling experience because it told me, don't take anything for granted,
Right.
But it showed me that, don't take advantage of certain things because they're never promised. And long story short, it was a learning, humbling experience. And when that happened, I took a rest. I went in hiatus for a while.
How long did that last?
About a year. I wasn't doing much. I was doing work, but I was here and there. I was trying not to be in the crowd that much. I was staying home with my mom. It's funny because even though I lived alone, I lived separate from my mom, Mommy was always there. I was gravitated to her side, whenever I needed, because I needed that comfort. And then I started networking, and I bumped into a gentleman by the name of Luchito Cabarcas, and he was writing for groups like Son by Four, DLG, and Sergio George, and then Mark Anthony came out with with his record, and then I started recording Spanish, and one thing led to another, y la próxima yo estoy cantando un disco en salsa con, you know, con los músicos en el estudio, y tengo clave, all that's happening. It happened so fast, and then we came out with Que Te Vas, that did very, very well.
Un chisme that I want you to clear up. Some people have told me that you were approached even before Mark Anthony was approached, because Mark Anthony used to do freestyle. He used to be a bass player for freestyle also, and he wrote a lot of freestyle songs. And I heard that you were approached before he was to kind of like start what he started, that movement of doing the transition, lo que hizo India, lo que trataron de hacer con Sapphire, that transition to salsa, that you were supposedly going to be the first one to do that. Is that
That's not true? Not true. Not true. I tell you what I did. I was the first one to do. I was the first freestyle male singer, Latino singer, to come out with a pop record in Spanish. Todos los discos que grabé en el segundo, it was called In My Life, was the second record on Columbia.
Okay.
We got together with Jorge Luis Piloto. You could Google him. He was president of, he became.
He's a friend of mine, yes.
You know who Luis is. Okay, very good. So I don't have to tell you who he is. We got together with him, and he basically took all my English records and transferred them into Spanish, and we recorded them, and we recorded No Morirá. I remember we recorded No Morirá. It was a simple, a lot of people don't know, you know, it was with me and Lisa Lopez.
I do remember.
You know, and a lot of people don't know, but No Morirá, you know, El amor que me das, you know, mi corazón.
You sang that with Brenda K. Starr.
No, en inglés.
The first one that I heard in English was you and Brenda K.
Y después lo hice
Starr.
en español, lo hice con Lisa Lopez. She's a Mexican singer, very,
Right.
very popular Mexican singer. And they took that song, the LG Sergio George, and they did it in salsa, but I was supposed to do it first.
That's a bochinche.
As the bochinche era que
You
I
told me
was-
this story,
yes,
because you and I meet up in the year 1996 in a record label. Polygram Records. You and I actually sat down in a conference room when we talked about this record.
Okay.
And we were talking about Huey Dunbar, him coming out with the song that made him, Huey Dunbar, separate.
He was the one that brought me to
I
Huey
brought
Dunbar.
him.
It was his neighbor. It was his friend. Yeah, he brought
Went to
him
high
to
school.
Yeah. He brought him to me, and the guy's like singing.
No, but
"We
you
love you."
came. We were talking about, because we were actually at the time I was the A&R person at
Doing this a
the
long
record
time.
label.
Oh, okay.
And we were talking about negotiating a record for you, and I was like the biggest pusher for you. But you were in the middle of another negotiation. I guess you were in the middle of that too. I don't know.
And that was for you talking for the salsa, for the Spanish.
For salsa.
Ah, okay, it probably was. Okay.
But we had a brief conversation about that, about Huey Dunbar doing that song, and lo que tú sentiste when you actually felt it. Share with us, what do you feel when you hear one of the songs that probably could have been you, that made him a big hit? Was that intentional, or was something that was done?
No, it wasn't intentional. First of all, let me answer the first question. Was I jealous? Hell yeah, I was fucking jealous. Excuse me, you have to bleep that out.
I will.
I was very, very jealous because it was my song, and I recorded the song already. Sergio George took me down to his recording studio. I did it in his house before anybody went, and I recorded la canción igualita como que la oye ahora. Los soneos y todo. But what Sergio did was, legally, I don't want to get into it,
Right.
it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Just the negotiation wasn't going to happen. So he goes, okay, strip out George. I got this new guy. Didn't know who he was. Happens to be Huey Dunbar. He tells Huey, you're going to sing the song. This is quote from Sergio George himself. He's a great man. He told me, I directed him to sing the song igualito like you did it in the demo.
Have you ever
And no
talked to
cambia.
Huey about that?
Yes, we spoke about it. He told
Because
me. And we're,
you're one of his biggest inspirations.
yeah,
Do you know that?
Yes, we're really,
Okay.
really good. Remember, we're from the same neighborhood. I started
Right.
working with him. So, but then I try to regroup myself emotionally, and then I told myself, I don't think if I would have recorded the song, it wouldn't have been a hit record, because the way Huey sang, he sang it in such a different direction, in such a different style. Que yo lo canto así. Él es más porque él es mezclado, ¿verdad? He's like
Jamaican.
Jamaican, ¿verdad?
Jamaican.
Jamaiquino and Boricua,
Puerto Rico.
Dominicano.
No, Puerto Rico.
So he had that little flavor that doesn't come from my home. So he put it in there, and I don't think if I would have those nuances, I don't think it would have been maybe. But I didn't take it away from him. I was happy for him because he represented it great. He sounded great.
That's
you know?
good.
He sounded really, really good, and he made it his own. You know. So
Yo soy muy creyente de que todo lo que pasa tiene que pasar.
seguro que sí. I'm the same way.
Pasó con Huey porque tenía que pasar con Huey. Era su momento.
That's right.
Tú has tenido un momento muy bonito también en la industria.
Thank you.
Un momento que muchos de nosotros hemos vivido unas memorias espectaculares.
That's
Yo sé,
right.
siendo una de ellas, que yo viajé mucho de nuevo a Nueva York, y era nada más que George Lamond. Toda esa época de lo que era la música y el estilo del freestyle, que ya ahora los jóvenes la verdad no lo conocen muy bien.
Right.
Para nosotros fue un tiempo muy bonito, algo que vivimos muy pleno.
Pero no, seguramente, because everything is, everything is at its time, So I wasn't hating because I believe in karma, Everyone has their moment. And not only once, it happens a couple of times, So, but look at what happens. I wind up talking to Mark Anthony. I'm at Mark Anthony's house, and he's telling me, you should do it, George. And I'm like, Mark, they're going to say I'm jumping on the bandwagon. George, do it. I can guarantee you're gonna do well,
And here you are.
And I did the song.
Tell me what happens then. How do you resurface from a dark time that you kind of had?
We get a nice little check from
That's always nice.
from Tom Silverman, who was the CEO of Tommy Boy Records. And it was due to a friend of mine who says, él le preguntó, one day they're crossing, he was working at the mailroom, and the president walks by. Y le dijo, let me ask, déjame preguntarte algo. Ese chamaco George Lamond, ¿tú lo conoces? Yeah, man, y que él canta Bad at the Heart, y Without You, and man, es un monstruo, y yeah, why? I said, what do you think of him doing Spanish? No, olvídate de eso, if you do it, yeah, he will rock it, really? And it took that little bump in the hallway for him to cut me a nice little check. He cut the check to the management company, and we had money to do an album. So now, he just gave us some money. All he wanted to was, let's put an album. He's a hot commodity. Let me sell him. And that's what he did. So I said, Toma, Tommy, here's a record. So we recorded songs. And I remember Miguel Bonilla, who came from the Sergio George camp. He was the arranger. He did, he worked on the Morena también with Sergio George. So he says, let's do Juan Gabriel, Que Te Vas. So I was like, okay, vamos a cambiarlo. I wanted to change it. No, eso se queda así. Eso es un classic. Déjalo igualito. No lo cambie de nada. So I was like, okay, fine. And I was totally against it. But I'm so glad I did it.
Well, you were not. You told me you wanted to record something by him. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I did want to record
something.
something.
I asked you, what kind of music would you record in Spanish if we were to do a record in Spanish? And you said you really like Juan Gabriel's songs.
Of course. Well, I was a huge fan of
a
lot of boleros, pero lo quería cambiar el estilo. Lo quería hacer bien cool, like, let me put some R&B. No. Deja eso quieto, deja eso así. So we kept it the same, and I'm glad that I did, because there was a lot of takes that when I held the note, ya lo sé, que tú te vas, I wanted to change it, que te vas, deja eso allá, eso es en la calle, eso keep it salsa, bro. So we did that, and then we kept the same, and I remember hearing the record, and when I got a copy of the CD, I knew it was a hit. I knew that Bad at the Heart was a hit, amongst all the other songs. I'm not trying to sound very cocky, but when you got something. Yes. I knew when I got Bad at the Heart, I was so happy because I knew my life was going to change. When I got Que Te Vas, I knew my life was going to change. Yeah. When I got Don't Stop Believing, I knew my life was going to. I was like, all right, I got another one, and I have another one that I haven't told you guys about, but it's all bien. Okay. So we recorded the song, and that's when Mi Dem, the conference Mi Dem.
Yeah, I think I was there.
You can explain to the listeners what Mi Dem is.
Yeah, Mi Dem es una conferencia de música. Mi Dem es una conferencia donde todos se reúnen. Well, back in the day, it used to be que los mismos abogados, las compañías editoras, the publishing companies, las disqueras, iban en un solo lugar y podían firmar contratos.
Right.
Are you familiar with this stuff?
Yeah.
Y hacer de todo ahí mismo. Yo fui, creo que varias veces a lo de Miriam, pero nunca firmamos nada que valga la pena.
Con Polygram.
Pero sí, with Polygram. No, with Sony. I was actually with Sony.
Okay.
Pero en ese entonces yo me acuerdo que se hacían todos los contratos ahí mismo en la conferencia de Miriam, and everybody had to go. It was like the biggest industry thing to go to.
Right. And so that was my first time. So es la primera vez. Yo veo todos estos desks y todas estas personas and these presentation booths and all these executives and pero qué está pasando aquí, and all I know is that everybody wanted to get to us, and we had there was a big bidding war going on.
Awesome.
So, pero we wound up going with Sony, and with Prestige, with an independent label that was distributed by Sony.
Right.
John Gumi Rivera, and the record did extremely well, and Entrega, the album, came out, and
What year was that?
99,
okay.
2000 por ahí, and it was the salsa boom for the United States.
Right.
Everybody who was a second generation Latino was up and now wanted to hear their voices. The Frankie Negrons, the Brenda K. Stars, the DLGs, the Luis Damon, Son by Four. All those groups wound up coming out based from the New York-ish tri-state areas, Y después de ahí seguí, and I just kept on doing my music. It's what I love. It's the one confidence that I have that I know I can do, and I never denied.
Really? Okay. So now here we are. What are you doing now?
Well, I'm still recording more music now, but
Are you with a label now?
Yes, I'm with Robin's Recording Artists.
Okay.
But what you forgot to say is here we are in the age where there's no more physical records.
Right.
There's hardly any record labels anymore. A lot of record companies did away with their buildings, and they have one floor, de tres piso up to 50 offices to 3 offices. La cosa ha cambiado demasiado because of the stuff that happened with the internet. But we embrace the internet now because thanks to the MySpace and the Facebook and the Twitter and all that stuff, I feel more in control of my music and all my fans now than I did before because I actually keep in contact with them every day. You know, it's a little overwhelming, but as much as I can, I try.
Right.
You know, so I'm recording my second release for Robin's Recording, my new English record. That's already done. We just got to get a release for approval. Ahora estamos empezando grabando un disco con Luis Damón. Me and Luis Damón formed alliances, and we are coming out with this band called the New York Express, and it's salsa music with the band, live band, from the late 90s. We're capturing that movement of the Marks and the DLGs and the late Tito Nieves stuff from back in the days, and we're putting it all together and we make it in our own in a presentation that's fit for, it could be from a live performances to almost like a theatrical Broadway live performance.
I'm loving this.
There's a little bit of not just singing, but there's a little bit of interviews in the stage. There's a little bit of chinche on the stage, and there's a little bit of a lot of comical play that we insert into
So it's a
the
show?
presentation. It's a show.
It's a show.
It's a live presentation. Hay música, hay salsa, pero hay bochincha, hay de todo. You know, why not? And it's called the New York Express. It's on my Facebook, and we're working on the website. We're just going to start working on a record next week. We're going to start working on the recordings. Y después la cosa mía, and I keep singing because, I still do the arenas. I'm coming to Miami next month.
May 5th.
May 5th, I'll be at
Do
the
the
Miami
salsa.
Arena.
Awesome.
We'll do, what's it
Los
called?
mejores de los
Los
90.
mejores de los 90 con Jerry Rivera, Tito Nieves. You'll hear it. It's gonna be big.
Miami Arena. We did it last year. We're doing it
Miami
again
Arena.
this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I'm a big believer in your talent. Yo creo que es una persona que tiene talento, eso nunca se muere. Desafortunadamente por el mercado y la manera que la música funciona,
That's right.
tenemos que acomodarnos más, pero es simplemente adaptarnos.
Right.
Te voy a decir lo mismo que yo hablando con Jorge Luis, el maestro Jorge Luis Piloto, una vez estábamos hablando. Él siempre ha sido un compositor a quien respeto muchísimo y ha hecho muchas canciones que mucha gente sabe, pero no ni se dan cuenta. Él estaba pasando por un momento similar de lo que me estabas comentando, donde él estaba teniendo dificultades, pero siempre decía, yo tengo mi fe, yo sigo para adelante, para adelante, para adelante, para adelante. Eso fue hace como unos 3 años. Hace 2 años la canción de salsa que se ha tocado más en la historia fue Yo no sé mañana, que es una canción escrita por Jorge Luis Piloto, en compañía de otros compositores, pero
That was Enrique, right?
esa la compuso, la canta
Sergio.
Luis Enrique,
Luis
pero
Enrique.
la compuso
Sergio.
Jorge Villamizar
Con Sergio. No.
con Jorge Luis Piloto. Y Luis
Oye.
Enrique ayudó, pero
Ah.
esa canción es de él. Y mira, o sea, después de todo lo que ha pasado y ahora vuelve a hacerla, ¿no? Te cuento esa anécdota porque yo sé que tienes el potencial. Estoy segura de que vas a llegar a hacer algo que va a revolucionar la música.
So do I.
Te deseamos lo mejor
Muchas gracias.
de parte de la estación, de Mía 92.1, de parte mía personal, porque yo he sido seguidora tuya de toda tu música. Yo empecé desde muy chiquitica escuchando tu música y es algo muy bonito lo que has hecho. Eres un legado en la historia de la música, which is it's something to really be proud of. So, te damos las gracias. Oh, hay 2 preguntas que en Facebook querían que te
Well,
preguntara.
here we go.
Because I put it up, I did. Y 2 personas me preguntaron. La primera, que si tú te acuerdas de Funhouse.
The Funhouse was, seguro que sí. a
Here in
Funhouse-
West Palm, because there was a Funhouse
Oh,
in
the
New York.
Funhouse in West
And
Palm.
there was a Funhouse in West Palm.
Oh man,
You got me there.
Probably. I remember. There was 3 because there was one in Miami too.
I don't remember when.
There was one in Miami. Yeah, there was one in Miami and West Palm Funhouse. She would have to show me the flyer.
Well, the owner of that was Frank Garcia.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
Okay.
And it was one of the first performances that I ever saw in that club was you.
Really?
So what my person asked me from, are you getting a lot of those fans there tonight? at that
Yeah.
concert?
All right, well, let them all come in. We're gonna have a good time
And the
tonight.
other person asked me, Angel, wanted to know if you were planning on coming back to doing salsa, which kind of like you answered.
Yeah. I'm actually doing the salsa with Lamond, and I also plan to do it on my own also. But I've always wanted to do, I wanted to add my style to it because I'm not a simplified guy when it comes to music. You know? I like different directions. So there's gonna be salsa in there, straight up salsa, pero también bolero y maybe a little bit of urban-ish type of music. No soy reggaeton because I leave that to them. That's where that they made that up, and I'm not a. I forgot to tell you, I'm also recording a bachata record, but I can't talk about that now. I'm going to be recording a bachata record with someone. It's under negotiation. It's a featuring record. It's a very well-known bachatero, and just look out for it.
You're not going to tell us what it is?
I can't. It's
we'll keep it on the wrap.
Yeah,
keep it on the
it's
wrap.
definitely
I'll let you know first.
Yeah, you'll
Give me the
definitely
first one
go
to
hear
know.
it. Una
I'll put your
canción
must be
bien bonita, y las letras son chéveres, y el cantante es un monstruo, y the well-known guy, super nice guy. So, but once we cross the T's and dot the I's, I can definitely be more sure.
Okay. ¿Dónde te ves en 5 años? 5 a 10 años, George Lamond. George Garcia.
In 5 años, I would like to be recording. I would like to find myself inside a recording booth, recording some talented singers.
Discovering other talent?
Young singers, yeah. That's what I want to do. In the next 5 years, I want to see myself in that position right there doing that. I don't care about the money. I don't care. I just want to, if I find talent calls me, when I see talent, I'll give 100% of my energy to push and let it be heard, so whether it's en inglés o en español, a mí no me importa, pero si el talento está ahí, I'm going to push everything I have and everyone that I know in this business that I've grown to call my friends and use every aspect of my connections that I have to make it happen. So that's what I want to find myself doing in the next 5 years.
What would you like to be remembered as in music? What do you, when people think George Lamond, what would you want people to really take with them?
The guy from the corner. Just the humble guy from the corner. That's it. Simple. Just a very, very humble man from the corner.
And the one piece of advice you could give to people who are starting out?
Don't make any enemies in the business. Don't make any enemies, because that person that you step on today might have a bigger foot in the future. So don't make any enemies. That's it.
Dicho por George Lamond, que lo tenemos aquí en vivo en Mía 92.1 en el Flow del Día. Gracias, George García.
Gracias a ti, un besito.
Eres amigo ahora personal de Mía 92.1. Gracias por compartir con nosotros tu historia prácticamente en la música. Ha sido un privilegio de verdad tenerte aquí con nosotros. Hoy, esta noche, estás en concierto.
Oh, that's right. Where I'm going to be tonight?
Blue Martinis.
Blue Martinis esta noche. Bringing all the freestyle, Battle of the Heart, Without You, Look Into My Eyes, What Does That Leave Love? Y tengo una mezcla de house music that I do that they're going to love. I'm also going to bring the salsa. I got some salsa records to do. And am I supposed to be meeting someone later on? Are we doing a meet and greet thing yet?
Yes,
yeah?
we're doing some meet and greet with some
So
fans.
I'm going to meet someone later on. We're going to have some lunch, and I want everybody to come down and have a good time tonight.
Blue Martini, City
Martini.
Play.
Yeah. No, there's another club that I'm doing. It sounds just like that. I didn't want to get the name wrong.
No,
Blue
no.
Martinis.
So Blue Martini City Place es donde vamos a ver esta noche a George Lamond. You guys can't miss it. DJ R1 spinning with DJ Mate, and I'll be hosting directamente con Mía 92.1. So thank you again, George Lamond.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Te quiero mucho.